We're now going to go to our Google Classroom, and there is an assignment that says, actually has not appeared to you yet, so let me go ahead and change that. It'll say MLK reading assignment, reading activity day 1. I'm going to just go ahead and assign it. It was supposed to pop up at 9, but I want to make sure we have time to go through it. So not the writing one. This is the MLK reading activity day 1. Please find the activity that says that. MLK reading activity day 1. So you might have to refresh your page because it's on top of the quick write. We're not doing the quick write right now. We are doing the top one. You'll see like a little cartoon of him in the slide. And when you open it, it looks like this. I see that Mason and Liam have found it. I see that Jackson and Hank have it open. Carter has it open. I see a couple more friends. Kira's getting it open. Olive's got it open. James is finding it. Our first slide once we're all there, our first slide says, I have a dream, and we're going to be defining these 6 words. And I would like us to look up the words. Now you might say to yourself, I don't have a dictionary. Well, if you look at the bottom where you can put notes into a Google Slides activity, there is a dictionary link that I would like you to click on. I want you to click on the Kids Wordsmith link. That's the one I'm going to go to. I'm going to click out of my other one so it doesn't go slowly. Do you see that link at the bottom of the slide? I see that Owen's found that link. Hank's found it. Click on the link in Olive, I will have to, can you refresh your page? There you go. I see you're opening it now. Let me know if you're having any issues with it. Okay, again, I'm gonna give to those directions again. You are on the first page. It says define it. There is a link at the bottom of the slide, that first slide where there's links to online dictionaries. I would like you to click on the one that says Kids Wordsmith. I'm going to show you what you're going to do on this activity and give you some time to work on it in class. And then we will go over some of it, okay? So I've clicked on the Kids Wordsmith. It's already open in my tab. My first word I want to look for is boycott, B-O-Y-C-O-T-T. And on the left side, you can see the search bar to find the words. So I'm going to type in the word boycott, B-O-Y-C-O-T-T. And I'm going to, and look, if you end up accidentally spelling it incorrectly, they give you some results on the right, underneath it, and it'll help you find the word. So I'm going to click go. Okay. Go ahead and click go. Lucas, what's your question?
Where do you type word at?
You type on the left side, there's a little button that says go. Do you see the search bar? You type in boycott, B-O-Y-C-O-T-T. I see Olive and Liam have it pulled up. Hank has got the word pulled up. Carter's got it pulled up. And I see a couple of you just have the word boy. Make sure you type in the full word boycott. Like Charlotte and Kira, you have just part of the word. I need you to type in the entire word. Sophia, I would get this open. You don't even have it open. Owen, make sure you're typing the full word in correctly. It's boycott. B-O-Y-C-O-T-T. B-O-Y-C-O-T-T. I see most of us are there. Our definition says to refuse to buy, use, or go to in order to make a protest or bring about change. Okay, I'm going to reread that definition. To refuse to buy, use, or go to in order to make a protest or bring about change. Now, this is not what I want to see. I do not want to see you copying and pasting that. Do not do that. What I want you to do is to come up with a definition in your own words. So what I would like you to do, I'm going to go back to my slide and type up the definition in my own words. So the definition for boycott was to refuse to buy, use, or go to in order to make a protest or bring about change. So my definition for boycott would be a protest where a person refuses to buy or use things so that things change. That is, I'm using a lot of the same words, but I am putting it into my own sentence. I will zoom in so you can see my definition better. I know the background makes it a little difficult to see, but hopefully since I've zoomed in, you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to reread that. My definition for boycott: a protest where a person refuses to buy or use things so that things change. So for instance, people in Montgomery, Alabama boycotted the buses because back in the 1960s and earlier, Black people were asked to sit in the back of the bus. White people were allowed to sit in the front of the bus. And we had many people, the most well-known is Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat in the front of the bus to a white man. So all across Montgomery, Alabama, people refused to use the buses. And when people refuse to buy things because of a certain thing that's happening, that hurts that business economically. They're losing money because they're not using it. Okay, so that is a boycott, a protest where a person refuses to buy or use things so that things will change. Give me a thumbs up when you have your definition written for boycott. You might have already had something written for boycott because that was a social studies vocab word when we did the American Revolution. Remember, the colonists boycotted buying goods from England, right? Because of the taxation that was occurring. That was a boycott. We're going to do the word discrimination also together. Now, this might be something that will be difficult to spell. So if everybody would go to their online dictionary page, remember I'm recording, so if you need to go back and rewatch to see what I wrote for my definition, I will have that posted, but I do need to move on so that we can cover more of this activity. What you're going to do is you're going to type in discrimination. Discrimination. And actually it kind of pops up below, but I will spell it for us. Discrimination. 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 You might have to toggle back between screens if you're having a difficult time spelling it. And I can even zoom just a little bit on my page. There we go. And if I hit go, and dictionaries are really cool because they give you multiple definitions based on the context in which it's being used. We're going to actually be looking at definition 2. Okay, we're going to look at definition 2. I'm going to make sure that you have this open on your page before I move on. I see Dylan's got it. Carter and Charlotte have it open. Hank has got it open. Lucas and Taya and Owen have it open. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, again, remember, we're not copying the definition. We are putting it in our own words because maybe sometimes words in the definitions don't make sense to us. The act of treating some people unfairly because of prejudice. That is the definition for discrimination. The act of treating someone unfairly because of prejudice. Well, what is prejudice? That's, remember, things that you believe in based on that you're like judging them. You're prejudging them, if you will. If you look at prejudice, it looks like the word judge. You're prejudging this person, often based on their religion, their looks, the color of their skin, all of those things. So the act of treating someone unfairly because of prejudice. So I'm going to go back to my discrimination. Oops, I'm still zooming in. I want to zoom out. There we go. So we are going to use for our definition, treating someone unfairly based on what they look like or what they believe. Treating someone unfairly based on what they look like or what they believe. That is discrimination. Give me a thumbs up when you are done writing your definition for discrimination. Thank you. It's okay if you still need more time. I'm definitely giving you more time to do it. What I just want to point out while you're finishing typing up discrimination, your independent work for this slide is to do equality, justice, and protest the same way I did boycott and discrimination, okay? The same way we did those ones. I'm going to give about 30 more seconds to get that definition written out, and then I'm going to move on. Oh, and William said segregation too. Sorry, there's a fourth one, segregation. Yes, you'll have to do 4 definitions on your own. Okay, I do want to move on to highlight it so we can talk about what you're going to be doing on the article. Ooh, I gotta zoom out. Okay, so the directions at the bottom of this slide, you can see them where it says highlight it. It's in the notes. It says click inside the text box and then click to highlight important phrases. So what you're going to do throughout reading this is you are going to, highlight things that you think are important about this article. What are things that are very important about Martin Luther King, important facts that we should know about him? So in order to do that, again, it says click inside the text box. Where is that? So if okay, text box. Oh, border color. No, that's not it. Not there. Not there. Oh, I'm sorry. If you click inside literally the text box, it's typed there for you. Don't erase any of the text, guys. You just highlight it, and then you go to this highlight color and highlight that. You guys are really good at this text stuff, probably better than I am. But that's how I highlight. So I'm not necessarily, well, I do like to know that when he was born. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and you go through and highlight anything that you think is important. Martin Luther King Jr., also known as MLK, was born on January 15th, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. In school, he was a very bright student and ended up skipping 2 years of high school and attended college at the young age of 15. Just a little background, most high school graduates are 18 and are 18 years old when they go off to college. So he was 15 when he started college courses. Martin's dad was a preacher and was a huge inspiration that led him to become a minister. MLK is best known for advancing the civil rights movement and his "I Have a Dream" speech. Martin's first major civil rights action was leading the Montgomery bus boycott. So I was already kind of talking about that. It began when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white man and ended up getting arrested. MLK organized a boycott. Now, that would just link you to your other slide with your definition, which lasted an entire year. He ended up getting arrested himself and his house was even bombed. However, Martin pushed through, which brought the end of segregation, or the separation of people on Montgomery buses. On August 28th, 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered one of the most famous speeches in U.S. history. It was entitled, "I Have a Dream." The purpose of his speech was to declare the necessity for change in America to bring equality to all. I'd like you to highlight certain phrases and facts that you think are important. They will help you on the next slide. I see Nuchen and Liam highlighting. I see Kira and Hank have highlighted. Carter and Charlotte are working on highlighting it. Eliza is highlighting. Dylan, make sure you get this open. I see it's open. Just go to the right tab. William highlighting, and Taya and Sophia are highlighting. Make sure to highlight what you think are important phrases. I'll give you another minute to get that highlighted. Good job. I see Dylan highlighting. Anna's highlighting. So for instance, I might have highlighted MLK is best known for advancing the civil rights movement, and I Have a Dream speech. Civil rights action was leading the Montgomery bus boycott. The goal of highlighting, though, guys, is notice I'm not highlighting everything. There's no point of a highlighter if you highlight everything, okay? On August 28th, 1963, delivered one of the most famous speeches in U.S. history, I Have a Dream. Declare necessity for change in America to bring equality to all. Okay. I could even say that brought the end of segregation on Montgomery buses. It did not end segregation. It ended segregation on Montgomery buses, which is a win, I think. Summarize it. I just want to go over really quickly what you're doing on this slide before I move on. Remember a summary. If I look at my page, If I look and I think back to when we did main idea, that is a summary. When we were talking about main idea and supporting details, that is how you write a summary. And so I need to think, Dylan, really quickly, remember to highlight. It will let you highlight it if you go to your text box, double click, and you have to go over it with your cursor first, your mouse, and then click the highlight button. That is how you highlight. I choose something, I go over it with my mouse, and then I go to the highlight button. I've got to pick what I want to highlight first. Don't go to her picture. You have to go up to the top where it says highlight. All right, summarize it. Okay, so remember a summary, the way to write a summary, I'm going to turn over a piece of paper so you can see, follow along with like some notes that I'm going to write to remind us. If I'm thinking of a summary, I have to do my topic sentence. First of all, summary equals 4 to 5 sentences. You are not completely rewriting the entire text. It's just 4 to 5 sentences. First sentence. Your topic sentence, which is your main idea sentence. Thinking to Martin Luther King, like not all of the things that we know about Martin Luther King, just the article, the 3-paragraph article you read. What is the main idea of that text? Your second through third/4th, depending on how many sentences you do, is your supporting details sentences. What are you talking about that supports your main idea sentence? What are things in the text that support that? And your last sentence, conclusion sentence, is wrapping up the idea. Is wrapping up the idea / repeating main idea. So I want you to keep those things in mind. We worked on it for an entire week where we looked at the main idea, supporting details, and finished it out. I want you to do that on this summarize page. Okay, so I'm going to help us out, and we're going to think of the main idea sentence together. What do you guys think is the main idea of that text we read? Hank.
Main idea is about Martin Luther King.
Yes, it is about Martin Luther King. What can we add to that? What do we want to say about Martin Luther King? What was like his most important, like what was that section about? Charlotte?
Constitution.
I'm having a hard time
This was
hearing
kind
you
of
today.
glitching whenever he said it.
Huh? I'm having a really hard time hearing you today. Your internet is kind of cutting out a little bit. What do you think the main idea is about Martin Luther King?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give us the main idea. You tell me if you think you agree with it. Martin Luther King Jr. was an important person in the, I need to zoom out just a little bit because I can't fit that, was an important person in the civil rights movement. Okay? He was an important person in the civil rights movement. Better than person would be leader. Was an important leader in the civil rights movement. He wasn't just one random person. He was like one of the most important people for that movement. Martin Luther King Jr. was an important leader in the civil rights movement. Give me a thumbs up when you have the main idea sentence written. Great, Kira, thank you. Thank you, Hank. If you are done writing your main idea sentence, I need you to shoot me over a thumbs up, so I know what I'm talking about in the next few moments. So I'm not talking and you're not ready. Thank you to my friends. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Martin Luther King Jr. was an important leader in the civil rights movement. Okay. Now what you would write, I'm not going to write it, you are going to find 2 or 3 supporting sentences from the highlight page that support the main idea. What are 2 sentences that support your main idea in the first sentence? I'm not going to go over it. This is your independent work, okay? I know some of you already have ideas. You're raising your hand. You're going to tell me what those are. I would like you to find 2 sentences that support the main idea here. And then after that, you're going to write your conclusion sentence that says, like, wraps it up. For instance, that would be something along the lines that says, these are the reasons Martin Luther King Jr. was very important in the civil rights movement, okay? It would be something along those lines. really quick, the last page that you're going to do is you're just going to type Martin Luther King Jr. in the caption, and you are going to find a picture of him from the web. Martin Luther King Jr. You're going to pick your favorite one, and you're going to drag it in there and fit it to the Polaroid. Okay? That's the last part you're going to do on the assignment. So to summarize what you're doing on this activity independently, you're finding a picture of Martin Luther King Jr. You're summarizing, you're finishing our summary. You should have things highlighted, and you have 4 definitions to find on dictionary.com or kidswordsmith.com. Do I have any questions about our Martin Luther King reading assignment today?